Hi guys, it's Kristen. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are doing the motherlode of all hauls to end all hauls for books. So I was very thankful, and for Christmas I got a lot of Thrift Books gift cards from my family, specifically from my dad. So shout out to Dad for funding the channel. He actually is a YouTuber himself. He has, which I think I've mentioned before, he has the Better Sleep and Dreams channel, which he does long videos to fall asleep to, so I'll link his channel in the description to go check out if you guys want to see that. But today we are going to be putting this Thrift Books money to use, and I also am going to show some clips of me walking around Books A Million because my aunt got me a gift card for them as well. So the way it's going to work today is I have obviously a very large TBR list on Thrift Books for books to buy, and I estimated that can buy, I think, 21 books, and I'll probably be able to get more than that because I'm going to get free books as well. I actually have 2 free book credits already, and one is for my birthday that Thrift Books gave me, which is why I'm filming this video now while I'm at home for the holidays, because I need to use that credit before the end of the month. So normally when I am trying to pick out what books I want to buy next, I will use Dungeons and Dragon dice. I used to use my exes when we were together, and then since then I have just used the online automatic situation. However, my brother is now a big advocate and player for Dungeons and Dragons, so he got a bunch of dice for Christmas, so he's letting me borrow his dice, which is very nice of him. So we are going to go through my TBR list and what is already on my wish list, because I have 2 sections in my Thrift Books online. So I have my wish list, which is the next books that I'm gonna buy, because usually after I buy my books at the first of the month for my little book hauls every month that I spend my little book budget on, I will immediately roll for what to buy for the next month. So and then I'll put those on my wish list, and then I have a to be bought list as well. So we are going to go through and we're going to pick all of my books to buy for the next video here. So starting with what's already on my wish list, because you guys have probably seen in a lot of my videos already that I'm reading a lot of series, and obviously once I like the series, I will go ahead and I will just add it to my wish list to be bought, and they kind of take priority over any of the other books that might be on my list because I want to finish the series. So as you can see here, I have the Bronze Beasts and the Silver Serpents already on my wish list because I am reading the I think it's the Gilded Beasts trilogy series that I told you about it was either my TBR or my reading wrap up that I talked about. So I have those on my list already. And then I have Escaping from Houdini, Capturing the Devil, and Hunting Prince Dracula, which those are by Kiri Manskaloko, and she wrote Stalking Jack the Ripper, which I am reading in December, and I've already read it since starting this video, and I really like the series, so I want to finish buying the rest of those books. And then I also have the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, which has been on my to be bought list for the last couple months now, but I keep reading series, so those get top priority. So that's 6 books, and I think I can buy at least 21. So I am going to be rolling the Dungeons and Dragons dice. So I'm going to be picking another 15 books off of my to be bought list. So just to kind of give you guys a look at my to be bought list as it stands, I have some thrillers, I have some fantasy, I have some newer books, I have some older books on here. And so say if I roll dice and I land on God's Grave, book 2 of the Nevernight Chronicles, I'm gonna automatically do it as book 1. That way I can read the series, and if I ever land on the same series twice, I'm just gonna re-roll for a new book, because I don't want to buy multiple books in the same series without having read the first book if I don't know if I like that actual book. So there are a lot of repeats on here, so we might have to do that often. And if we get to the point where I've exhausted all the books on my TBR that are in series, then I have a whole separate list of books that are like my second to be bought list after I buy all of these books. So we will bust that list out if need be. I don't think we will need to, but we will see. And then usually I start from the most, like the oldest page on my list. That way I'm getting books that I originally started liking and then wanting to buy, and then newer books that I wanted to buy. But since there's only, I guess there's a decent amount of books on the second page, but I'm going to start from the first page and like count my way down that way. That way I can get a good mix of books that I more recently wanted to read and books that are older that I've wanted to read. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and roll for our first book. Eight. So back to the page, and we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got 8. So going back to the first page, and we'll count from the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. So we'll go ahead and move that over to my wish list. 13, which is Carval by Stephanie Garber. So I'm super excited to read this book, especially because I've already read The Night Circus, because that was on my December to be read list as well. So I will be updating you guys about how I felt in that. But this is kind of similar vibes to The Night Circus from what I think. So I'm super excited to read that. All right, next we have 18. It is The City of Dusk by Tara Sim. And I based the number of books that I could buy off of, so obviously I have a certain amount of money on my account now, so I just rolled a 2 to let you guys know. So I have a certain amount of money that is in my account, and I just guesstimated that most of the books I buy are around $8. So I kind of guessed it off that, and especially because like the pricing on here, I was just like, oh, I want this book, so I just added it to my wish list. I didn't like go through to find the cheapest book option, and obviously prices do change on thrift books a lot, so depending on availability and whatnot. So I just went with a flat $8, and and some are obviously gonna be higher if they're newer, some are gonna be lower. So I will do the original intended books with you guys, and then if I have extra money, I'll buy more. And I'm not going to show you guys, because for the free books for thrift books, there's a certain limit of how much you can spend. Like, I think for me, because I'm the literati category, I can get books that are $7 and under for free. So it's going to take a little bit to figure out which books I can get for free, which books I can't get for free, and I'm going to have to buy these in multiple batches. That way I can always get a free book with like the next cart kind of a deal. So we'll show you guys everything at the end when all the books come in. That is what I am buying from thrift books, just in pure book rolls. We'll see how the totals work out in the end and if there's any changes to the lineup, but I will take you guys with me to Books A Million. See you there. Kristen, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be doing my haul to end all book hauls. So I've been waiting a very, very, very long time to film this video, and I just can't wait anymore, so I decided to film it today. And so let's just get right into it. So first I'm going to start with my Books A Million books that I got, because there's less of them. So my aunt got me a Books A Million gift card for Christmas, and I got 3 books from it, which was way more than I thought it was going to be, because I've never been to a Books A Million before, and I didn't know, because like, you know, you go to like Barnes & Nobles, and like I feel like every book there is at least $30, if not more. So I was like, oh, this is going to buy me like 1.5 books, right? Actually, no, I didn't. They seem to have more deals than Barnes and Nobles, but I mean, I guess the prices are kind of comparable. I mean, a little bit cheaper, but they have more deals going on, at least from my experience of going to the one in Michigan. So the first 2 books I got were a buy one get one half off, and so Legend Born by Tracy Dion came out, I want to say either in 2021 or 2022, and this gives me like Percy Jackson vibes. And so Legend Born is the first in the series, like a fantasy book that has to deal with a group of kids in a school and magic powers. And then Scythe is nobody actually ever dies anymore, and so people get picked to become scythes, and they kill people, and they are the only people that have the privilege to kill people, and you kind of go through someone's training, I think. Scythe is the first in its series. And then last but not least, I got Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. So this is one of my favorite books, and I just never had an edition because I wanted to get a pretty cover version, and so I finally decided to pick up a pretty cover version while I was at that bookstore because I had a little bit money left over. And I had already bought so many other books off of my TBR that I figured why not get a pretty version when I can get one. So next are going to be all of the new books I bought from Thrift Books. So they don't come in the typical green packaging. They always come in cardboard. So I figured it would be easier to do those first since they don't have any packaging. And so the first book I have here is Nevernight by Jay Kristoff, and this is also another fantasy that I am excited to read that has been on my TB bought list about assassins school, basically, from what I have gathered. And Nevernight is the first in its series as well. And then next is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. So ever since I saw Sarah read this book, I immediately put it on my to be bought list. And this is like a carnival, and then there's like trials, and there's a prize at the end. And I think like some sisters go missing in here, so she's trying to find her family. And I'm hoping that this will give me what Night Circus didn't end up giving me, because they kind of give me the same vibes in terms of like setting and intrigue. So hopefully this will do a better job than the Night Circus did. Caraval is the first in its series. Alright, so next is The City of Dusk by Tara Sim, and this is the first in a trilogy, and this is also another kind of fantasy, magical type book where there are a bunch of gods and they've kind of abandoned this one city, and so all of the heirs in that city decide to band up and like fight and rebel to try and save their city is what I think it's about. Next is just The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. I put this on my list. I think I was roaming through Target and I saw it on the shelf and I read the back, and it seems to be very cute. Gives me the House in the Cerulean Sea type vibes in terms of she's taking care of magical children. So I'm excited to get to this eventually. Which, speaking of getting to these, I mentioned in my plant wish list video, or I mentioned in one of my videos that I need ideas on how to pick my TBR. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know, other than me just randomly picking ones off the shelf. Like if there's anything fun that you think I should do. Okay. So next is A Curious Beginning by Deanna Rayburn, and this is a Veronica Speedwell mystery. I think this is the first in the series. I know there's a second one, and this is just kind of, it's set in old-timey London in the 1800s, and her aunt has died, and she gets placed in the care of someone, and they end up dying, so she has to like figure out the mystery of who killed the person she was placed with. I'm super, super, super duper excited to read this. So this is Never Lie by Frida McFadden, and this is about a couple. They go to this house to like see if they want to buy it, and they end up getting stuck there, and they end up having to like go through like this murder mystery type situation, and I'm super excited because I've heard very, very, very good things about this book. and then The Last Time I Lied by Rayleigh Sagar, and so this is kind of another mystery thriller type situation where something happened in the main character's past, and now that she's in the present and has kind of made a name for herself, they want her to go back to where the original event happened. So I'm looking forward to this. And then next is Capturing the Devil by Carrie Manscalo, and so this is another book in the Stalking the Jack the Ripper series, so I'm excited to see where this one goes. I don't remember which book this is, but I did know that I liked the first book, so I wanted to finish out the series. And the last of the new books that I bought is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and I think this is kind of like a paranormal type fantasy situation where someone moves to town and they think he's a vampire, and they try and like figure out his secret and kind of hunt him down in a non-traditional way. So those are all of the new books that I have. So now we're going to bust in to the thrift book packaging itself, and I left everything in its package, so we're going to be surprised. I just opened it up because obviously I needed to make sure that I had all my books before I could do this video. But in this package, we have The Book of Cold Cases by Simon St. James. So this is another thriller where I think just a group of people get together and try to solve unsolved mysteries that have gone unsolved for like numerous years, and I think they actually like make some progress in some of them. And then I think this is TJ Klune, one of his newest books, but it's Under the Whispering Door, which gives me kind of like someone died and like they woke up in the afterlife, and now they're trying to figure out what they have to do in said afterlife. So I'm super excited because I really loved The House in the Cerulean Sea, so I wanted to read more from this author, and I saw this one I think in Walmart one day, and I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting, I'll just add it to the list. Alrighty, so in this one we have Escaping from Houdini. So this is also another book in the Carrie Manscalo Stalking Jack the Ripper series, which I'm super excited to finish. And then we have People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. As we all know, I've read Beach Read and I've read Happy Place, and I really enjoyed both of those books. And spoiler, I read Book Lovers this month, and that book made me cry, so look forward to hearing about that in my January reading wrap-up. But I think it's just kind of been my mission now that I'm going to read all of Emily Henry's like romance books. And then you guys may or may not know that I've been collecting the Artemis Fowl series because it's one of those ones that I read the first book in like middle school and I never finished it. And I really, really remember reading the book. The movie's trash, like most movie adaptations, but I have secretly been collecting the Artemis Fowl series books because these ones are pretty easy. I think they're like $3 to $5 on thrift books. So if I can't ever find a free book to put in my list that is already on my TBR, then I just add one of these to the order. It makes it easy. So in this one we have House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin Craig, and I think this is like a 12 Princesses retelling, and it's actually really funny because when I was at Books A Million, I was in between getting a couple books besides the pretty version of Little Women, and my dad actually I think picked this book for some reason. I can't remember why, but he picked this book out, and I was like, oh, and then he was like, oh, well, you should get the pretty version because you're already here and you want the pretty version, and who knows if you're going to find another pretty version that you like. And then I did my little Dungeons and Dragon dice roll, and House of Salt and Sorrow came up for my January to be bought list. So that was fun. And then this is Hunting Prince Dracula, which is the second book in the Carrie Manscalo series, which I will be reading. Probably I'll take this up next month or maybe at the end of the month if I meet all of my reading books that I've already said that I would read for this month. Which I also forgot in my TBR that I have the first book in the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy, and I just completely forgot that I had that book when it came to picking out my books for the month. So I'll probably read that one this month too. Ooh, there was lots of them in here. This was a big one. So we have The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. So this is obviously a thriller mystery that I am super looking forward to reading. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just reading series, because I felt like last year a lot of my reading was a lot of series, and then once in a while I would get just a single book on its own. And I enjoy reading series, but sometimes I want a break, and especially because a lot of the series that I read are so fantasy heavy that I want to break out once in a while, you know? So next is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham, which I've heard mixed things about this book. I put it on my list. I think I heard someone talk about it sometime last year, so I put it on the list, but I've heard several like it's kind of slow and boring, and that the twist pretty much gets summed up in like 10 pages. So we'll see what happens when I read this book eventually. And then we have The Silvered Serpents by Roshani Chokshi, and this is the second book in the Bronzed Beast trilogy, which comes after Gilded Wolves, which I read in December. And then the last book in this package is Insurgent, which is the second book in the Divergent series. So I only ever read the first book, and then I went and saw the movie. And then I saw the movie, and I never ended up finishing the series, so I figured it was one of those, I'll put it on the list of things to do. Then is The Bronze Beast. This is the last book in the Bronze Beast trilogy. And then the last package that we have here is... these are all Artemis Fowl books. So we have The Last Guardian, The Eternity Code, and The Opal Deception, which I think I'm missing 6 and 7 because I didn't buy them in order. I just kind of bought them in like whatever was the cheapest, I think, at the time. So those are all the books that I have bought this month. I'm super excited because I think this is... I have 26 books here, and that doesn't include the 3 books that my mom got me for Christmas that I already talked about in my January TBR. But I have a feeling, because another reason why I really wanted to do my book haul video is so that I could finally put these on the shelf and see if I need to buy another bookshelf. I'm pretty heavily sure that I am going to need to buy another bookshelf, but I'm kind of thinking of redoing them because the way they are right now is just by author. There's like no like separation other than that, and I was kind of thinking about maybe I do like the main genre of the book and then do it by author. So like for instance, the Rhapsodic series is both a romance and a fantasy, but I would put it under fantasy because that's the aspect that's like more standoutish to me. So I would do like a fantasy section, and then I would have it in order by author, and then I also have it so if I have multiple books by the same author, I do it in alphabetical order of the series. So but I've also seen where people will take like their favorite book bindings or like their favorite series and they'll put them on their sides, and I think that might work out better for me because then I can stack like my little pictures that I have and my little trinkets in the bookshelf instead of them just kind of being in front of my books. But how do you guys organize your bookshelves? Because I need some inspiration. Also, you know, if I have to buy a third bookshelf, I gotta figure out where the heck I'm gonna put it because I don't really have any room in my living room anymore between everything for Bean and my plants and my already 2 bookshelves that I have. So how do you guys set up your home libraries? Were there any books in here that you are looking to read this year? If they are, let me know. I'm hoping that this many books will hold me over for like Let's see, if I read 8 books a month, this should hold me over for like 4 months. Hopefully, maybe, we'll find out. But let me know, did you guys get to do a big holiday splurge for buying your TBR lists? If so, let me know what you picked up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!